Welcome back to the channel. Episode 2 of the Lunch Platter Special. It's a beautiful January morning here in Michigan, and today we're making Cheshire Cheese. That is a cheese, it's the oldest named cheese in British history, and we're going to try to make it today. It's kind of like cheddar cheese, a little drier, a little crumblier. It ages for anywhere from 4 to 6 months. I hope you enjoy the video. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks. Enjoy. All right, let's get started. We need some mesophilic starter culture, some calcium chloride, some rennet. We've got 2 gallons of milk. And to start out here, we'll need some cheesecloth and a cheese mold and an instant read thermometer. Then we pour the milk into the pot. Got that set on a low setting to heat the milk slowly to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the milk comes to the target temperature, we're going to add a packet of mesophilic starter culture. Hey cat, see her run by there? We sprinkle that on there, cover it up, let it rest for 5 minutes to rehydrate. And then after that 5 minutes, we'll come back, stir it, get it evenly distributed into the milk, and then we'll let it rest for 40 minutes to acidify. All right, 40 minutes later, we come back with the calcium chloride. It is a half of a teaspoon diluted in a 1/4 cup of non-chlorinated water, and we just mix that up pretty good, trying to stir top bottom, make sure it gets all through there. And then we're going to add in our rennet, which is also diluted a half teaspoon to a 1/4 cup of water. And we mix that in, stirring it for no more than 1 minute. This is what sets your curd. And then we will cover that and let it rest for 45 minutes. After that 45 minutes, we come back and we check for a clean break. And it looks like I have one there. It's just making sure your curd is pretty solid. And then we're going to cut the curds into 1/4 inch cubes, as close as you can. I cut one way, cut the other way, and then I will put the knife on a 45-degree angle to cut it horizontally to actually make the cubes as close to cubes as you can get with this weird method. Then we'll cover that, let it rest for 5 minutes, and then come back and gently stir the curds. If you see any really large ones, just take the edge of your spoon and cut them up. Then after that 5 minutes, we're going to cover them up and let them rest for another 5 minutes to settle. Then after that 5 minutes, we're going to come back and remove about a quart of the whey. I use a sieve and a little scoop and scoop out about a quart of the whey. Okay, after that whey is removed, we're going to come back and stir these for an hour while gradually raising the temperature up to 88 degrees. I do not stir the whole time. It's about every 5 minutes or so. And then once it comes up to the 88 degrees, I'm going to cover them up and let them rest for another 40 minutes to let the curd mass settle to the bottom a little bit. And then I come back and I drain all the whey off and let it into a cheesecloth lined colander, and then squeeze out some of the whey. And then I'm going to return the curds to the pot. You want to keep the curds warm. If you don't, you'll have problems with them stitching together later when you press it. So you want to keep them warm the whole time. I don't leave them in the pot with the eye on. I end up putting the entire pot in a sink with hot water in it, as you'll see right now. Then I press the curd mass into a mat and drain off the whey. After I drain off the whey, I press it into another mat about a semicircle or so, keeping it warm in the water. And then I let it rest for another 30 minutes. After that 30 minutes, I drained off the whey, and then I came back and I cut this into 4 cubes. And then I let that rest for another 30 minutes, drained it, and then came and flipped the mats. I repeated this step 3 more times, flipping and draining every 30 minutes. After that final 30-minute rest, I come back and I drained off the remainder of the whey, and then I took my knife and I cut these chunks up into 3/4 of an inch to an inch sized cubes, and then I added 2 tablespoons of salt and milled that in. Now into a cheesecloth lined cheese mold, and then into the press. And we will press this with 25 pounds of weight for 30 minutes. And then we will remove it from the press, take it out of the mold, turn it over, redress it in the cheesecloth, and then return it to the cheese press with 50 pounds of weight for 12 hours or overnight. Okay, this is after the first press, and you'll see here that this wheel of cheese is still pretty crumbly, but that's to be expected. Okay, the next morning we're going to take the weight off and pull the cheese out of the press. We're going to put it on a rack to air dry until the surface is completely dry. The first time I made this cheese, it took 2.5, 3 days. This time it took just about a day and a half. I flipped it twice the first day and once on the second day. When I went to flip it on the second day, it was already dry. So that's when I decided to vacuum seal it. picture of the cover I use just for drying it. It's just a little picnic cover. That's just to keep dust and stuff off of it while it's out and air drying. And now here I'm just gonna vacuum seal it up. I'm gonna write what I vacuum sealed and put a date on it, and the earliest date to take it out of here. I wrote 4 months on here, but I think this might end up going 6 before I actually do anything with it. And then once I have the date written on there, I'm going to just put it in my cheese cave. This is the inaugural cheese for this cheese cave. You can see the video of that in the playlist. Thanks for watching.